Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of All Angles. I'm Dion Jatsmiller. Now, the Supreme Court has ruled in a case brought by the National Housing Trust against private security firm Marksman that their security guards are employees, not independent contractors, meaning they're entitled to benefits, paid sick leave, paid vacation, paid maternity leave, and overtime after working 40 hours. So it's an important ruling. What are the implications for the industry? Does it have implications for contract workers in other industries as well? Going to be talking about some of those issues. And joining us tonight, we have St. Patrice Ennis. He's General Secretary of the Union of Technical, Administrative and Supervisory Personnel, UTASP. Dr. Orville Taylor with us as well, Industrial Relations expert, award-winning columnist, as well as host of Hotline on sister station Radio Jamaica. Before we come to them, though, we spoke to 3 security guards to try and get an idea what their working conditions are and what they're hoping for from the Marksman ruling. Now, security guards work long hours. Sometimes they choose to work extra shifts to earn more money, but other times they tell us they're assigned very long shifts or they have to stay on the job because no one comes to relieve them.
The long hours based upon a 12-hour shift, and sometimes you don't even get relief. Because sometimes you'll be here from like 7 in the morning until 7 in the afternoon, and when it's time for you to get relief, you have to be calling, and sometimes you don't even get nobody. The phone just ring without an answer, And
what happens in those cases?
You have to do double. And sometimes, well, we'll say sometimes, basically you don't see that overtime, or basically they don't pay for overtime. So it's just the next 12-hour shift you're basically working.
We hear a lot about the working conditions of guards, that the hours are very long. How do you manage with the hours?
Poor. Really poor. Sometimes security comes, sometimes security don't come on location. And enough of the times they can't find somebody to come on location to relieve you. So when I say hard, most of the time.
So, like, what is a shift and when would somebody supposed to come to relieve you?
Alright, so our shift is a 7 to 7 hour. At 7 to 7, that's a 12-hour.
12-hour shift?
That's a 12-hour shift.
So somebody is supposed to come and relieve you?
Yeah, have to come and relieve you.
But you said sometimes that doesn't happen?
Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes, well, it's rare, say it doesn't happen, but sometimes it just, and enough security guards are really feel the pressure by that.
So what happens when nobody comes to relieve you?
You have to work. You can't walk off of the job. You can't, more time when you call, nobody, them say somebody will come and nobody don't come relieve you.
So how does that make you feel?
Someone, well, me, we have things to deal with, bad, but we can't cause. We don't depend on location.
To work 12 hours is not easy. Because, you have to wake up from early in the morning, depending on where you live. You have to leave out early to catch the bus to reach to work early. Sometimes, by the time, like 5 o'clock, you get so tired and frustrated. Sometimes you think that you just don't want to come back the other day. And sometimes when you think about the distance that you have to travel sometimes, you're wondering if you could get another job somewhere nearby. That I don't think you would be so tired.
Sometimes I get some location, when time I go, especially at the guardhouse, when you look around you have to wonder if I really have something I got there for 12 hours. You have some post or some location with, because right now when me there right now, no bathroom not there. So if me forget break to go use the bathroom, I have to call somebody and go all the way around at the back.
How do the long hours affect your personal life, your family life?
Well, it don't really affect me. Just have to call home and let them know that I'm not going to come home or support or, me as a man for their home. So kind of worried when it comes to certain hours.
Okay, you have kids?
No.
Okay, that's why you don't have too much of a problem. But I can imagine some of your colleagues with children probably a different thing for them.
Yeah, problem. Cause more time them call me and them can't bother them.
Man, it take away everything, trust me. Because even my wife, she always accustomed me and I say, I'm put the work before family and my kids them and everything. It take away family time, play time, every kind of time it take away. Sometimes I have to literally take a day just to help her out with the kids them. And more time I do out here for 48 hours, I go home. And she's like,
You have to work for 48 hours straight?
Straight.
Why?
You don't get no relief. It might sound like a joke, but it's serious. It might sound like a joke.
So how you manage when you're doing that?
Well, the greatest thing about it, I always have my knapsack. I always like have extra shirt, extra underwear and stuff like that. And we have bathroom here where we can bathe and stuff like that. So
you feel at the end of that?
End of that, exhausted. Trust me, because more time I go home, I can't even get to play with my kids then. I just sleep more and sleep. Get something to eat and just sleep. Because me have to reach back at work tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock sharp.
That is another thing again. Because sometimes we work like either 7 days a week or 6 days a week. So, you know, the time span, you don't get enough time to spend with your family.
7 days a week or 6 days a week?
Yes.
And working 12 hours a day?
Right. Sometimes you don't work 12 hours, but you may work like 8 hours. But you're still tired and you don't find enough time for your family.
So how does it impact them?
Well, sometimes. Well, I have grown children, so it's just my husband. So sometimes he's not well off with it most of the time. But you know, you just have to do what we have to do.
So what about the lack of paid leave, like paid vacation and paid sick leave and so on? How does that affect you?
Well, it affects bad because some of the time you really want to leave actually get yourself back together because the pressure at work and so forth, and when you're not getting paid for leave, that it kind of turn your mind from taking leave because you know how the system goes. You have to like work to get paid, and if you're not working, you cannot get paid.
So do you take vacation?
Yeah, I'm gonna take vacation like good amount of times.
So the lack of pay don't bother you?
The lack of pay.
When you take the vacation?
I have to think about my health.
Do you get any paid sick leave at all?
No.
So what?
Paid sick leave?
So what happens if you're sick? You find yourself have to come work sometime even when you're sick?
Even when you're sick, you have to come work. If you're sick and you call in, oh, you have to come work and we don't have nobody for and this and that and yeah. So
you manage?
More time, just take a pill and come to work.
What's the worst you've ever had it when you've had to come to work when you're sick? What's been the worst day you can remember? Enough, yes. Enough. But it is what it is.
And in relation to benefits, because that's one of the concerns over the years, that security guards don't get paid leave, don't get,
That's the number one concern. If you get sick leave, they don't pay for more than 40 hours.
Women who have children and don't get maternity leave, paid maternity leave.
I can't even tell you what my boss said one day to somebody who asked that. It was very disrespectful. And so we want the government to also put that in place for maternity leave. Because you have young persons joining the companies, they want to have children too.
So how are you? A lot of guards I've been talking to say they don't quite understand what the Marksman, the Supreme Court ruling is going to mean. Are you clear what kind of difference it might make?
Benefit-wise, I'm clear on that, but knowing how the company is like, let's see.
One of the things companies have been saying to me is that they're not going to be able to afford overtime. And they say what might end up happening is that guards might have to go be rostered for 40 hours and not get no overtime, and then that means their pay will be cut. If that is what happens, how would that affect you?
Big. That will not for say me alone, but a lot of security guards that have kids, it will affect them like super affect. You know what I mean? Like a little pinch. It go affect them, because you know enough persons them a pay car loan, them a pay rent, them have 2-3 kids. Just look on those persons. If it cut like that, it go affect them big. Not for say like me. It go affect me, but just look on the persons them a have like a lot of kids. Them have to do like some probably no got them out for a week.
What do you mean?
If you look at it, you have to put in the hours.
No, what do you mean?
If you really
though?
look into it.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, don't get me out, you have to do like day and night for put in, because
You mean
if
to try
it
to earn
cut,
extra money?
for earn extra money, because if it cut like that, then no security guard are going to basically suffer.
One of the things the companies are saying is that if this new ruling is implemented, they say the industry can't afford it. And they say what might end up happening is that they might end up having to roster guards just for 8 hours, so you end up getting less pay. And they are saying the guards don't want that.
No, I personally wouldn't want that, because an 8-hour shift for me can't cut it. Because I have 3 kids, plus me have light bill, me have water bill, the internet bill, plus food still no buy for your house. So a 12-hour shift for me now go cut it. Me no work under 12. It has to be 12 and over, just so me can go home with something.
But is that because that's what you need to work to be able to carry home a decent amount?
Yeah.
Are you worried then that the ruling, even though you get the benefits, that it might end up putting guards in a worse position?
Well, not to say worried. Benefits is good. Getting the benefits is good. But you know that bills have to pay. So 50-50. Let's put it that way.
What would you want the government to do for the security guards?
Raise the pay.
Some of us are dedicated person. I am a dedicated chef. So they just need to step up completely. And we work very hard.
I hope it come true. Yeah, really and truly, because we really need that overtime and that sick leave and all of that. We really need it. Really, really need it.
Okay, so we're going to take the break. When we come back, we'll hear a little bit of what the companies have been saying. Then we talk to our guests. Want you to tweet along with us. Our hashtag is TVJ All Angles. And just to say, we had invited a representative from the Jamaica Society for Industrial Security. And we're told today that they weren't available to talk to us. Let's go to the break. We'll soon come.